Hi, it's Tash from Foxes and Brown Bears Tarot, and today is day 22 of Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot, and the prompt is, if you were shipwrecked on a deserted island, which 5 tarot oracle decks would you want to have with you and why? So I've got 3 tarot decks and 2 oracle decks. And my very first one is no surprise to anyone. It would have to be my Everyday Enchantment tarot by Poppy Palin. And the reason for that is because it is my workhorse deck. It is always spot on. It is versatile. I can use it pretty much in any situation and for any use. It is diverse. It is representative of everyday experiences and places and people, and so I can see myself in it, I can see other people in it, and it reads well where you can just read the story, the emotion of the story within the card, or intuitively, but basically it is my favorite deck of all time. I adore it. It is the only deck I have a backup copy for, just because I can't imagine life without it. All right, the second deck I would have is an animal deck, because I love animal decks and would need to have one with me. And the one that gives me outstanding readings and I love the imagery of, and I find the animals were chosen very well for this one, and that's the Spirit Animal Tarot. And so this is by Dol Bronca, illustrated by Ola Leola. And I just love, these pastel-y backs. They are so beautiful. I love the glossy cardstock. And I just absolutely adore the artwork in this deck. And oh, look at this beautiful, beautiful card. And this is my all-time favorite card. I love this so much. This is the card that first sold me on the deck. And I'm so glad I got it, because ultimately it is the animal deck that reads best for me. And even though you're not seeing a lot of things happening in it, for some reason, like, the actual energy of the animals fits the card so well. And the book is fabulous too. It really gives you spot on readings, and I just really enjoy working with this deck. And so that would be the second deck that I'll take with me. The third one would have to be my Majestic Earth Tarot. So this is by J.D. Hildegard Hinkle. And the reason for that is, I mean, first of all, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at the backs. But ultimately, it's artwork that depicts nature. And I absolutely adore cards that depict nature, and I love, love, love art decks. So this pretty much has it all. And also, this kind of fits a niche into my collection, because whilst the Everyday Enchantment Tarot I can read intuitively and do read intuitively, it tends to tell a story, whereas this one is kind of doesn't really, like, the images don't really show people doing things. And when I first got it, I thought, oh, I'm not sure if I can actually read this, but it's turned out to be one of the decks that I use intuitively, and I use it primarily intuitively. And for some reason, it just connects with me on a very emotional level, and I get a very deep understanding of what the card is trying to tell me. And most of the time, I don't even look at what card it is. I don't actually care whether it's in the Nine of Swords or the King of Wands, or it really makes a very little difference, because I tend to get a very strong intuitive hit for this one. And so I definitely want that. And it also reminds me of different landscapes if I was stuck on one little tiny deserted island, and I could, yeah, it would satisfy my wanderlust. Alright, so my 2 oracle decks. The first one would have to be my medicine cards. This is by Jamie Sams and David Carson, and they are my all-time favorite oracle cards. I've had them forever. I love these so much. And they're probably my least attractive. So if you have a look, the backs are not great. The cardstock's super flimsy. And I mean, they're not necessarily gorgeously attractive cards in comparison to most that you can see. And like, for example, in comparison to the Majestic Earth, or things like the Dark Mansion, and you've got heaps of Oracle decks that are just so beautiful. And these really aren't up there, but I actually find it really cute. I really love these little line drawings of the animals. I love the way they designed. But ultimately, what I love most about this deck is the book. The book is incredible. It has just over 2 pages on each animal. And so you'll see there a butterfly, and we'll go over and give you, like this one has 2 pages, and it just gives you so much information. It will give you an actual story about a butterfly within the world, and then it will also just give you a lot of things to think about. Okay, so what does the butterfly signify? And it will say here that it is transformation. It will give you this cute little verse, which I love, and I'll often remember these verses for the day because I do use these on a daily basis, and they often kind of remind me of the kind of energy that I need to embrace for that day, to help me make the most of my day. Gives great advice. It's always on point. It has never given me a reading that didn't fit in on my day. So love this so much. I could never do without it. And my 5th deck that I'll take with me is a fairly recent one, actually. It's my Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Linn, and I have been blown away by this. I put off buying it for quite some time, even though I really like Denise Linn's decks, and I'm so glad I bought it. It's like amazing, amazing. So here you can see the backs. They are beautiful, but the keywords are so expansive on this, and they just work so well. I love this card so much. The imagery is beautiful, and I find this deck just kind of works with any tarot deck. It works for any sort of clarification for reading, daily draw, and to the extent that I'm in the process of packing at the moment, and this is the only Oracle deck other than a couple of animal decks that I have not packed yet, and I'm going to take this with me because then I can use it all the way up to my moving day, because I feel that this is all I need at the moment. And yes, the imagery is just absolutely gorgeous. All right, so they're my 5 decks. And thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time. Take care.